What's up, guys? Bands here again on another episode on Wordsmith TV. I'm going to cover a concept today that I haven't touched on in a while, a playlist that I have on the Versus series. If you don't know what the Versus series is, I'm going to post a few links on the top here. This is where I deconstruct two different words or statements, pit them up against each other, and you decide what you find more empowering. Today's one is getting through or getting from. If you haven't done so already, click on the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to receive videos like this or content similar to this on a weekly basis. Make sure to be notified as soon as I post a video. I do so at least once a week. But for now, let's talk about getting through or getting from. Let's go. I think I need to go upstairs for this one. Let's go. In each moment, every day, every week, month, year, experience, situation, circumstance, we have two choices: to get through the experience or to get from that experience. And I remember hearing this from Tony Robbins. He said, how do you approach each day? Do you try to get through it or do you try to get from it? Through, quite simply, is from one end of the opening to the other side, just being able to get through that period. I looked through the Macmillan dictionary and it gave me about 6 definitions for getting through, right? About 3 of them are very important for our purposes, right? One of them was dealing with something difficult, dealing with a difficult moment, getting through an experience of just staying alive till you see the other end. We can relate to that. The next one was completing a task or getting through something, getting something done, getting your work done. You just got through that work. The last one I want to focus on is passing a test. You got through a test. You did just enough. You got the standard to get through that test, through that interview. Focusing on that last one, passing a test, achieving the bare minimum standard to pass through a test. I think life, the way we socialize in life in this day and age, we socialize to get through experiences, through the week, through a day, versus getting from it. And getting from it means, what can I take from this to be stronger, to grow, to evolve, to be a better person tomorrow? And when I say socialize, think about your schooling life. I'm a case in point. You went through school. Exactly, you went through school, and it was just getting from one grade to the next, from one standard to the next, getting through this test. And all you had to do was just pass this particular test and move on to the next. You didn't have to show or display any particular level of understanding. So any test you wrote, all I had to do was regurgitate information the teacher gave me, spit it out onto the paper, and tomorrow if you asked me the same information, I didn't have to, chances I wouldn't remember it, because all I did was get through that moment. I just completed that particular task. Now, the interesting thing is that life is quite the opposite. In life, right, compared to school, where in school you learn a lesson, then you write the test, all right, and you just get to the test. In life, you are tested daily, weekly, whenever it is, and you will continue to be tested on a particular subject until you learn the lesson. And that requires you to have a change in focus. As opposed to just getting through the experience, you then have to start looking and saying, what am I focused on? Am I looking to get from this experience? Meaning, I'm being tested on this area around my money, around my business, around my career, around my relationship, whatever area it is that you get the same test. Clearly, there's something I'm out learning. There's a lesson I need to learn, and that requires me to grow, to evolve, to raise my game. An extension of the schooling system, right? We learn stuff within the schooling system, and we think once school is done, learning is over. But we know the opposite is true. We learn even more within our life experiences, right? And quite simply, if you look back here, there are all these books. So I used to look at how I get through books. I'd be that guy who posts and says, I read 30 books in a year, and that was a great achievement. But I've just changed my focus now, and I got this off someone I'm following on Instagram, to not just get through a book, but to get from it, learn a lesson. And the great focus for me now is, what area am I looking to improve in my life? Whatever it is, get a few books around that subject and read, reread, whatever it takes. Get from it. Start applying the information that's being taught. Start raising your consciousness. Start creating different perspectives and awareness around this subject and getting better around it. So there's a lot of getting from that information versus getting through it, which is what I've been socialized to do through school, and say, oh my God, I got through these books. Whereas it's quite more important to say, I got from this XYZ and I can reread it and get something else from it. How about dealing with something difficult? All right, that's another way we get through situations, circumstances, events, etc. Just getting through that difficulty at that particular point in time. I'll be honest, there are times where I feel, I just want to get through this. I just want to get to the other side alive, breathing, kicking, whatever the case is. And while experiencing whatever it is, it's just quite important to get through it. But then you say, hang on, let me look back. Things have quietened down. There's not a lot of noise around. Let me reflect on this moment and say, what can I say I took from that experience? How can I show up next time when something similar goes through my life? If I experience a bankruptcy, if I experience financial loss, if I experience physical loss of a loved one, whatever it is, what did I take from it? Clearly, I can show that I've learned X, Y, Z from that particular experience. And I think it just changes your focus in that moment. It's very easy for me to say, while going through a difficult time, say, what am I learning from this? What can I take from this? And I get a lot of positive thinking folk who say that in that moment. But it's also important to acknowledge that you're going through crap at that point in time and say, great, I'm going through this, but what is it that I'm looking to achieve moving forward as well? I may want to grow a mental muscle. I may want to know that I am more resilient. Whatever it is, you don't have to now be a superhero in that moment and, not go through the feelings of anguish that you have at the time, but at some stage reflect and say, this is what I took from that experience. Then comes the third definition, getting something done, getting a piece of work done, getting the week done, whatever it is done. Generally, if we're honest with ourselves, we're playing a game of getting through the week, through the month, through the year. And the funny thing about humans is we want to get through the week. We want to get to Friday. We want to get to hump day. We want to get to Thursday, whatever. But then you look back on the 31st of December and say, sheesh, wow, the year just flew by. Where did the year go? Time flies. Oh my God. What have I done? That New Year's resolution, whatever it is. And then you say, but I also want to get through the week. So how can you be wanting and willing to get through the week, through the day, through this hour, through that test, through everything, yet look back and say, oh, that flew by? So if you want to actually get from it, yes, the time will still move the way it does, but it's with a different perspective. It's with a perspective of learning, of growing, of achieving. The shift in focus requires you to demand more of yourself, demand more of your time, demand more of your resources to say, hang on, am I getting from this or am I getting through this? And for as long as you're getting through it, that opening, the one opening is your birth. The next opening or the other side is your physical death. And in between is that dash. Are you just dashing through it and getting through life? Or are we looking to grow and evolve and say, hang on, this is what I got from that experience. This is what I got from X, Y, Z, and this is how I grew. I think that's where the joy and the juice of life is, as opposed to just getting through moments where you look back, you're like, hang on, what just happened? Was that just the week that went by? Oh, damn, it's the second month of the year. Was that another month? Was that the year? Was that a decade? Was that whatever? I was about to say a century. Hopefully you live that long. But ultimately, changing the focus. Am I getting through? Am I getting from? And ultimately, it's all up to you and I to decide where we choose to play, what we choose to focus on. Again, as I say it all the time, your words are incredibly powerful. Use them wisely. Cheers, guys.